How many times have you talked about your big plans, shared your dreams with others, and felt excited in that moment, only to never follow through afterward? Maybe you felt a rush of motivation while speaking. Maybe you believed that this time would be different, but then, slowly, that energy faded away. There is a strange and often uncomfortable truth about human behavior. The more we talk about our goals, the less likely we are to actually work on them. It sounds counterintuitive, but it happens more often than we realize. Without realizing it, we fall into a hidden trap, a trap that feels harmless, even positive at first. We confuse talking with doing. We mistake intention for progress. We start believing that because we have expressed something out loud, we are already closer to achieving it. And slowly, without noticing, our dreams begin to fade before they even begin, not because we lack ability, but because we lost the urgency to act. When we share our dreams with others, something subtle but powerful happens inside our mind. It is not something we can easily see, but it is something we can definitely feel. People listen to us, they smile, they encourage us, and sometimes they even admire us. They say things like, "That's amazing," or "You're going to do great," or "I believe in you." That praise feels good. In fact, it feels very good. It gives us a sense of importance, a sense of identity, and even a sense of progress. For a brief moment, we feel like we are already becoming the person we want to be. But here is the hidden danger. Our brain cannot clearly distinguish between real achievement and social approval. To the brain, both can trigger similar feelings of satisfaction. So when we receive praise for something we have not yet done, our mind begins to believe that we have already accomplished something meaningful. That feeling of satisfaction replaces the hunger we need to take action. The urgency disappears. The inner pressure that pushes us forward becomes weaker. The desire that once felt strong slowly fades into comfort. And without that inner drive, we stop before we even start. Not because we decided to quit, but because we no longer feel the need to begin. In a quiet and almost invisible way, early praise becomes a thief. It steals the energy required to turn dreams into reality. And most of the time, we never even notice that it happened. About 20 years ago, in a small dusty village in India, there lived a young boy. The village was simple, quiet, and unchanged for generations. Life followed the same rhythm every day. People woke up early, worked hard, and lived modest lives. The boy was the son of a poor farmer, and like many before him, he was expected to follow the same path. His future seemed already decided. He would grow up, work in the fields, and live the same life his father and grandfather had lived. But his heart was different. He did not feel connected to the fields or the endless routine of farming. While others saw stability, he felt limitation. While others accepted the life given to them, he quietly dreamed of something more. Instead, he was drawn to wood. There was something about it that fascinated him. He loved the scent of fresh sawdust, the texture of carved surfaces, and the way a simple piece of wood could be transformed into something beautiful and useful. In his mind, he dreamed of becoming a skilled carpenter, someone who could create things of value and beauty, someone whose work could be seen, touched, and appreciated. His passion was real, his desire was strong, but what he did not yet understand was that passion alone is never enough. Without discipline, without consistency, and without action, even the strongest dream remains only an idea, and that was exactly where his struggle began. One morning, the boy stood proudly at the village tea stall where men gathered daily. It was a place of conversation, laughter, and shared stories. Everyone knew everyone, and news spread quickly. With confidence and excitement, he declared that he would become the greatest carpenter the village had ever seen. His voice was strong, his eyes were bright with belief. The men smiled, some clapped. The tea seller praised him warmly. They encouraged him, admired his ambition, and spoke as if his future success was already certain. That moment filled the boy with pride. He walked home feeling taller, stronger, and important. In his mind, he had already taken the first step toward his dream. He felt seen. He felt validated. But the next day, When he picked up his father's old tools, something had changed. The excitement was gone. The praise still echoed in his mind, and instead of working, he chose to delay. He told himself he would start tomorrow. It felt reasonable. It felt harmless. But tomorrow became next week. Next week became next month. And slowly, time passed without action. This pattern repeated again and again. Every new idea was announced. Every announcement brought applause. And every time, the work never began. His hands remained empty, while his words continued to grow. One afternoon, while wandering near the edge of the village, the boy met an old man sitting quietly under a tree. The man's presence was calm, almost unnoticed by others. He was a retired carpenter, known for his skill, but not for his words. His work had once been respected, but now he lived a quiet and simple life. He spoke little, observed much, and seemed to carry a deep understanding of life. The boy sat beside him and confessed his frustration. For the first time, he spoke honestly, not to impress, not to gain approval, but simply to express what he truly felt. He spoke about his dreams, his repeated failures, his inability to take action despite his strong desire to succeed. The old man listened carefully without interrupting. There was no judgment, no impatience, no advice given too quickly. Then he asked a simple question. "When you get a new idea, what do you do first?" The boy answered quickly, without hesitation. "I tell people. I want them to believe in me." The old man nodded slowly. There was no criticism in his eyes, only understanding. He had seen this pattern before. Many times, he had seen how easily potential is wasted when action is replaced by words. The old man reached into the soil and picked up a small groundnut. Holding it gently in his hand, he asked, "If I plant this seed in the earth and water it quietly, what will happen?" The boy replied, "It will grow." Then the old man continued, "But if I place this seed on a rock and spend my time telling everyone how great it will become, what will happen?" The boy paused. This time, he thought more carefully. "Nothing," he answered softly. "It will never grow." The old man looked at him and said, "Your dreams are exactly the same." He explained that every time the boy announced his dreams, he was placing them on a rock, exposed, unsupported, without the conditions needed to grow. Praise feels like sunlight. It feels warm. It feels encouraging. But without roots, sunlight alone cannot help a seed grow. In fact, it can dry it out. The boy realized the truth instantly. His dreams had never failed because of lack of ability. They had failed because they were exposed too early, before they had a chance to grow strong. That day forward, everything changed. The boy began visiting the old man's workshop in silence. He told no one, not his friends, not his family, not the people at the tea stall. He simply showed up and worked. The first week, he was only allowed to sand wood. It was repetitive, tiring, and unglamorous. His hands blistered, his back ached. There was no praise, no recognition, but this time, there was also no audience to impress. So he endured. The second week, he learned to measure and cut. He made mistakes. He wasted materials. He felt frustrated at times. But instead of quitting, he continued. Weeks turned into months. Slowly, he learned joints, carving, and finishing techniques. He began to understand not just how to work with wood, but how to be patient with the process. There was no applause, no validation, no one telling him he was doing well. But in that silence, something powerful grew inside him. Without the pressure of others, he found freedom. Freedom to fail, freedom to learn, freedom to improve. For the first time, he was truly working. After 5 months of consistent effort, the boy built his first chair. It was not perfect. The edges were slightly uneven. The surface was not completely smooth, but it was strong. It was real. When he sat on it, he felt something different. This was not the shallow pride of words. This was earned pride, the kind that comes from effort, patience, and persistence. He placed the chair outside his home. People noticed. They asked questions. He answered simply, "No announcements, no boasting, no need to prove anything, just results." Soon, He built more: a table, a shelf, then beautifully carved wooden boxes. His skill began to speak louder than any words he had ever used before. Within 2 years, he had his own workshop. Customers came from nearby towns. His reputation grew naturally. Without saying anything, he became exactly what he once only talked about. This story reflects a truth that exists in our modern world more than ever. Today, we live in a culture where sharing feels like achieving. Social media encourages us to announce our goals, post our intentions, and seek validation instantly. Every like, every comment, every encouraging word gives us a small reward, but that reward is often dangerous. It tricks the brain into believing that progress has already been made. The result is simple but powerful. When the reward comes before the effort disappears. We feel satisfied without doing the work, and slowly, our goals remain exactly where they started, not because we lack ability, but because we lost the drive to begin. So here is what you can do starting today. The next time a new idea excites you, resist the urge to share it immediately. Keep it to yourself. Give yourself 30 days of silent work. No posting, no announcing, no seeking approval. Just action. Let your hands prove what your words once promised. Protect your dreams like seeds. Let them grow in quiet, away from noise and expectation. And when the results finally appear, you will not need to explain anything. People will see it for themselves. Now ask yourself honestly, what is one goal you have been talking about but not acting on? And are you willing to start working on it quietly today?